to Cincinnati. Welcome to the jungle. Let's go. Stripes, 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 yeah. Stripes, 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 yeah. Stripes, 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 yeah. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite in our Cincinnati, we gon' rise in in the jungle, we unite in dripping orange and black and white. Who day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Wake up the beast, every day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle, dripping heat. Tigers stripe the city streets. East side, stand up. West side, stand up. If you reppin', who day? Time to put your hands up. Bengals stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati, jungle fitted. Who they in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we live it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the bounce, make the city howl. Now we beastin' now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes we tatted on the jungle when we flex that who they muscle on them. Stripes, Cincinnati, we gon' rise in in the jungle, we unite in dripping orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Stripes. Now who wanna move crossing on? Stripes. Now who wanna move on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock them, yeah we got them, yeah we fought them. Like that black and orange upon them, bingo bottle, never stop it till the beast on feast and know who they rock wings. Cincinnati, she's our queen. We gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite in Cincinnati, we gon' rise in the jungle, we unite in dripping orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Now who wanna move crossing on? Now who wanna move on? All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Treadle. And as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view. Right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of the AFC champion North AFC champions, Cincinnati Bengals. Also the Reds, if they play baseball, but who knows when and if that's ever going to happen. But do me a favor, if you found the show, hit that like and subscribe button, smash that thumbs up. You guys are awesome. I'm up to 1,505 subscribers. That is awesome. I always appreciate every single one of you guys. So if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, what are you waiting on? Hit the subscription button, hit the bell for the notification, and every time I go live, you'll be notified. So we're doing super chats as well in the chat crew on YouTube. So if you like to support what I'm doing, or make sure your comment gets read, because we got James Rapine on here, and he's a very popular guy right now. I mean, the man went to the Super Bowl. He was out in California hanging out for a while. I think he's got a nice tan. You know, he's all rested and ready to go. He's full of all kinds of Bengal news. So if you want to make sure your question or comment gets read, give me a super chat. I would greatly appreciate it. And as always, I'm coming to you live from the Ice Cave. And the Ice Cave is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out their website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. Like I said, we got James Rapine from Locked On Bengals, from Sports Illustrated, from All Bengals, from his own channel. You know, he's starting to become Mr. Bengal. I mean, Dave Lapham is Mr. Bengal, but James Rapine is becoming Mr. Informational Bengal. I'll put it that way. Let's get to James. James, what's going on, my man?
Mr. Informational Bengal. I think I will take it. I'll take that. It's not as catchy as Strawberry Ice, but
Hey,
It,
there's
it
only
might
one
be
of those
better
a
than
day.
any nickname I've been called in my past. What's going on, my man?
Just came off the top of my head. I was trying to figure out a way to get to you, and that just popped in. So there you go, Mr. Informational Bengal James Rapine. So, so I don't know if
I
you paid
like it.
attention to what I tweeted out earlier today that kind of blew up, and I messaged you earlier about this, about getting Ryan Jensen and possibly moving Trey Hopkins to guard, and some people liked it. Some people said it was the worst take ever. You know, I don't know. I just there's lots of different things that the Bengals could do. To me, I just put it out there. I think the Bengals, if they're going to spend money on the offensive line, which you and me both believe they will, I think you
Get
spend the
better.
money on a center and a tackle and maybe one and then another guard. That's three. You still have to get that other guard. If you have Trey Hopkins under contract, I think you just slide him over there. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
Certainly possible. And here's the thing when it comes to Trey Hopkins, and I haven't written a lot about this, but let's look at what Trey's done and look at what the Bengals are. And we know the Bengals are loyal, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, what did Trey Hopkins do? The dude tore his ACL in January 2020 in a meaningless game against the Ravens.
Yep.
Or 2021, excuse me.
Yes. Right.
And was back in July of 2021
Right.
for training camp, fully cleared. And I get it. The first half of the year wasn't exactly what people had hoped, and it was probably unrealistic to expect that from him. But I think the Bengals, as far as his future, I think they're going to be loyal to him.
Mm-hmm.
You played through it for us. We're going to be loyal to you this year. So that means probably keeping him on the roster. So that aligns sort of with what you're saying, right? If he's going to be on the roster, you want to find a spot for him.
Right.
And maybe he is a backup, but you don't want to pay a backup as much money as he's set to make. It's
I
$6
don't see the
million
Bengals
cap
doing
hit.
that.
Exactly. So, yeah, if you go get a Ryan Jensen, can you have Trey Hopkins compete for a starting guard job? And maybe ultimately, hopefully, Jackson Carman just kicks tail and becomes the guy that they hoped he would be and takes the job from Trey Hopkins in camp. But could you theoretically say, hey, right now we're going to pencil in Trey Hopkins as a starting guard? I think you can. And that doesn't mean that this Bengals offensive line is going to be amazing in that scenario, or that he's going to be amazing, a Pro Bowl guard.
Right.
But will he be competent? I think he could be. So I certainly think that's on the table. I also think it's on the table that they keep Trey Hopkins at center and look at the guard spot. But what have they valued over the years?
Tackles.
Mr. Strawberry Ice.
Tackles.
Right? And so to me, they already have a guy in Trey Hopkins that they trust, at least to a degree. Wouldn't be shocked at all if they slid him to guard and had some of these young guys battle out for that other guard spot.
Right, exactly. And I mean, I had people tweet me out saying, well, we need 4 offensive linemen. Okay, I'm like, all right, let's be a little realistic. They're not getting 4. I'm hoping, I think, I'm pretty confident we're going to get 2 in either free agent or trade or something like that. Possibly 3. But 4 is almost out of the question. And whether people want to like it or not, Jonah Williams and Trey Hopkins are going to be on this offensive line either at center or left tackle or guard or right tackle or both guards or whatever. I mean, those 2 will be on the offensive line this next year.
Yeah, I'm certainly confident about Jonah Williams, and I'm pretty confident about Hopkins as well, just because of what he brings, how mature he is. You know, culture-wise, it matters. And so when you have that, plus the fact that he did show signs of being better, you know, in the second half of the year, and he's going to have, you know, a whole offseason now to get back to the Hopkins in a contract year that we remember. You know, I like his chances of being much better and improved in the guy we remember from 2020 pre-injury before he suffered that ACL injury. As far as Jonah Williams, if I had to guess, I would still say left tackle. Like if I had to do that being said, Laramie Tunsil could be out there, right? Like there are guys like that Teron Armstead is out there. You have to be interested in those guys.
Yes, absolutely.
And if they're going to fix their offensive line, they have to be aggressive and they have to get proven bodies, because they've tried. A lot of people say the Bengals haven't tried, especially nationally. Bengals haven't tried to fix the offensive line. They don't care about it. Oh no, they care. There's a difference between trying and getting it right. And they haven't gotten it right. And they've gotten it wrong much more than they've gotten it right. And they have to 100%. If there's one thing they have to do this offseason, they have to get it right in the trenches, specifically on the offensive line.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the one mistake that I'll give them for last offseason, and it's just Jackson Carman was not a plug-and-play right guard for them. That's what they needed him to be. That's what they drafted him to do, and it wasn't, and it didn't work. And once Ryan Reef got injured, you had 2 unstable parts of your offensive line on that right side, and that really just had the offensive line decline from there. So, I mean, we've talked about this last year. I mean, it would have been nice if they would sign Zeitler at guard last year or whatever. That would have been, a nice move. But that's where I think we both think they're going to fix it. The other issue is I think we need to go out and get a cornerback. And I'll put it to you this way real quick, James. I would like the Bengals to fix the offensive line and cornerback in free agency because we're picking 31. The Linenbog or what the guy's name is from Iowa, he's a great center. There's a very doubtful he or any of these other top 5 offensive linemen are going to be there at 31. I don't want the same problem we had when we drafted Billy Price. We had this a certain guy in mind and he wasn't there and they panicked and drafted Billy Price. So I would like them to get at least 2 or 3 offensive linemen, get a cornerback, and then you just draft for depth. That is, if you still have your 31, you don't trade it for Tunsil. But still, I would like them to draft for depth. Draft the best player available. And if you do fix it through free agency, that gives you the option to do that. Because let's be honest, this team is not the deepest in certain areas. Linebacker, tight end, cornerback, offensive line, stuff like that.
You're 100% right. This team, and I've said it on my channel, on my show, right? They have a win now quarterback. They have a win now trio of receivers, win now skill players across the board, and a win now defense. Do they need to add pieces? Another edge rusher? Yeah, of course. If they don't re-sign both BJ Hill and Larry Ogunjobi, they're going to probably need, and even so, you could use a young 3 tech, right?
Right.
But the fact that they've hit on all these guys in free agency gives them clear areas where if you upgrade and give yourself a win now offensive line and maybe one more veteran edge rusher, or to your point, a veteran cornerback, a CB 1A, doesn't need to be JC Jackson, but Mike Hilton wants JC Jackson. And so, hey, if Mike Hilton wants him, go get him, right? Go get him and Tunsil. Let's have some fun, right?
I'm here for that
too. you might as well be aggressive, right? And they could do that, by the way. It might sound unrealistic. They could. I don't think they will necessarily. But if you fill those needs, then you go into the draft and you're like, all right, let's go best player available. And I can't remember. I mean, the last time they could probably do that, actually, I can remember. It was 2013.
Yeah,
2013,
14, somewhere around there. Yeah,
with Tyler Eifert, 21st overall.
Yep.
They were a stat. Oh my God, Tyler Eifert's still on the board. Oh my goodness, let's take him, right? And it should have worked out. It didn't work out. And there isn't a tight end worth the 31st pick in this draft. But how beautiful would it be if they could get a safety at 31?
Now that is a possibility. Yeah.
And no, I don't mean Jessie Bates' replacement for all those that are like, oh my God. No, Von Bell's in the last year of his deal.
Right.
And so there's a chance there. And I'm not saying don't keep Von Bell. Maybe you extend Von Bell this offseason. But if you can take the best player available in all of these rounds, you're already picking at the end of the round. So it makes it tough. And if you put yourself into this porthole, we have to take a center, or we have to take this, or we have to take that, you're going to get it wrong more than you're going to get it right.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I don't want to happen because, last year we were picking in the top 5. We knew we were going to take Sewell or we were going to take Chase. It was pretty freaking easy. You're picking 31. You don't know what you're going to get. You say, okay, I want to get this guy. Well, what if he's not there? So, and the thing is that the offensive line is a bigger, there's more to fix than just one guy on the offensive line. So that's why. Anyway, let's get to some of the comments in here. Sure. Josh wants to know, James, what do you think about the trade move, like trading for Quentin Nelson or Laramie Tunsil?
All right. So I'll get to Tunsil in a second. The Quentin Nelson stuff, and I know that comes from social media and all that. If that happens, if they trade, it's not going to happen, right? Yep. It's not. There's no way the Colts, a really well-run organization with a good GM in my eyes, are trading one of the best offensive linemen in the league, a guy who's so versatile. If they needed him to play tackle, could, even though he's a guard. I just don't see it. But if it happens, I'll come on here and I'll eat 10 frozen strawberries in honor of Strawberry Ice. Because I won't even let them thaw out. That is not going to happen. Now, as far as Laramie Tunsil's concerned, could that happen? Rebuilding team, second-year quarterback that I was just watching Sports Center at the gym, and it's like, or NFL Live at the gym, and I'm like, well, there's no way that that he's going to start. I forget his name, the dude in Houston, but he's Davis Mills. But yes. I think is it Davis Mills? Yeah. But it sounds like he's going to start one of those guys.
My dog's trying to get his 2 points in here too.
Yeah. No, but you're good. But to me, the Tunsil thing could happen. They're going to trade Cooks. They'll probably trade Deshaun Watson. If you can get Tunsil, yes. And that's realistic. Right. I just don't think Quentin Nelson is going to be available. If he is,
Right.
Give 31,
Yeah.
give next year's one, and then sign him to an extent. I don't even know what his contract is. I haven't even entertained it because it's a silly rumor. But Laramie Tunsil, I think there is a chance. I don't know if the Bengals would necessarily do it because he's owed 17 plus million this year, 10 million guaranteed, 18 plus next year.
Right.
That being said, he's 27 years old, could be a franchise left tackle, specializes in pass blocking, is an elite pass blocker. And last I checked, if you keep number 9 upright, you're going to have a shot in any game you play. So would not be mad if they made a move for Laramie Tunsil.
So do you think he's for Tunsil, would it just be the 31 overall pick or 31 and like a second round next year or something like that? What do you think what's your opinion on what they'd be looking for Tunsil in that one?
I think the Bengals would try to do the 31st pick and let's say a 4th or a 5th rounder for Laramie Tunsil, and they would just absorb his contract and like the Texans, 110th pick or something. They would try to get a pick back.
Right.
So they still have 7 total picks. Assuming they get a compensatory selection, we'll see. We haven't found that out yet. I don't think. I haven't seen any news on that yet. So, but yeah, that would be what I would think. Kind of a Cordy Glenn situation, but you're not going to be able to just move back 8 spots. I think you're going to have to move back farther. I know they have a pick in the 60s. I don't know if the Texans would do that, but maybe they do, right? To get in the first round and get their guy, that they want at the end of round 1. So who knows? Maybe they want a quarterback. Maybe they want one of these wide receivers at the end of round 1. So I certainly think it's doable, but yeah, 31, the 31st pick would probably have to be involved in some form or fashion.
Yeah, I mean, I would do that all day long. I mean, Tunsil, I think, would be a great addition. You move Jonah Williams to the right side, and then either you get another guard or, like I said, get a center. And I think the offensive line is far better than it was last year. And Jackpot Joey Burrow is upright, and we've seen my son did a video, and I talked about it with you earlier about how wide open in the last play of the Super Bowl, wide open Jamar Chase was, and how wide open CJ Uzomah was, and if we had an offensive line, things would have been different. So that's where, and I think Mike Brown and the Bengals are going to have nightmares about that. That's why I think they're going to fix the offensive line. And James, let's be honest, how cool is this? I mean, up until 3 years ago, we never even thought about free agency for the Bengals. And not only are we thinking about, we're talking about the top tier guys that the Bengals are possibly going after. I mean, that is how far this organization has come in 3 years.
It's awesome, but they have to do it now, right? I totally get you because you're right. And that's the Joe Burrow effect and the Jamar Chase effect and the T Higgins and, on defense, hitting the ball out of the park, hitting 2 grand slams back-to-back free agency cycles on defense and drafting Logan Wilson and hitting on him and Jermaine Pratt and Jessie Bates. That's what that is. But now that you're here, to stay here, to maintain the AFC North, and they could dominate the AFC North for the next decade. That's the thing is this organization, 54 years in existence, they've only won the division back-to-back times once, 81 and 82 in 54 years.
Yeah.
And I know it was a different division then, but they've never been this perennial Super Bowl contender year in and year out the way. And it's a bad example, I guess, because the Packers haven't been there in a decade plus. But the Packers, every time you talk about the Super Bowl in the NFC or the NFC title game, you're thinking of the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. The Bengals can be that, but they have to get the offensive line right. Otherwise, Burrow's going to continue to get dinged up. And I'm tired of people blaming him because he holds onto the ball. That's what he does because he's a baller.
Ben Roethlisberger held onto the ball, and it's anyway. Sorry,
get him a line. And so they to do. And the thing is, they've tried a bunch of different ways, but they're going to have to be extra aggressive in free agency. Kevin Zeitler, I know for sure, was interested in coming back to Cincinnati last year, and the offer wasn't close to what the Ravens offered. It can't happen anymore. You have the quarterback, you have one of the best receivers in the NFL, and then another top 20 receiver probably in Higgins. And I still haven't gotten to Boyd yet, or, a top 10 running back in Mixon, and we can argue where they're ranked and all that stuff. You have all these pieces, and you have a young head coach you believe in that you just extended. Stop tying one arm behind your back, right? They're coaching. It's like they're like this because they don't have an offensive line. And instead of that, go out, get the offensive line, and then watch this offense flourish. Because even as good as the defense has been, the offense should be the strength of the team with what they have at quarterback and those skill players.
Exactly. And just like you're just saying, the coach has been coaching with their hands tied together because of the offensive line. To me, that goes to, I think, a compliment to this coaching staff of what they were able to accomplish with this offensive line the way it is, and to the and I know you guys got into this on Locked On Bengals a little bit, and I liked what you guys said about Zach Taylor's play calling, because everybody keeps getting on about his play calling and yada 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 and all these different things that it could be better. Of course, we all agree it could be better. Zach's even said it could be better, but it's hard to be able to call plays the way he wants to because of this offensive line and because of the beginning of the year. Let's be honest, Joe Burrow had a knee injury and he wasn't the Joe Burrow we saw the second half of the season. So Zach had to coach around all of that stuff. And to me, that just shows how good a coach I think Zach is and how good a leader he is.
Yeah, it agreed. And it's also a testament to how unflappable Joe Burrow is.
True.
Because I don't think Zach would have been able to do that with Dalton. I don't think he would have been able to do, and that's not a knock on Andy, but I'm just using him as an example because he was the quarterback before Burrow. Most quarterbacks would have broken and not made it past it and not been, in a mindset, in a state to make the throw right at the end of the Tennessee game that he made to Jamar Chase. To just be Houdini in the pocket against the Chiefs in the AFC title game, because I didn't think the offensive line was any better in the AFC title game than they were the week prior. I just think that Burrow was that damn good and he was really tough to bring down. So but Zach deserves credit. And I want to see this offense, a Brian Callahan, Zach Taylor coached offense with an offensive line that isn't killing them. They don't need to be, I'll go back to what I said earlier, a win now offensive line. That's all. I need you to be a B-, right? Like me in high school, in college. I just want a B-. I don't give a damn much. I'm fine with my 3.0 GPA. I don't want a D because that's bad. If I get a B- in a subject I'm struggling at, I want an A in certain things, but B-, if that's your worst unit on offense, they're going to crush it. They're going to score 30 plus a game next year. They're going to be so damn good if their offensive line is a B-. If they shore up a couple of things outside of the line, add another receiver. They need another receiver. We'll see what they do tight end wise, but the receiver depth is a thing that I think they'll have. But yeah, I do want to see Zach Taylor with a competent offensive line because it should unlock a couple of things for him, for Burrow, for Joe Mixon, right? For this entire offense.
All right. So you brought up tight ends here, and people have come at me and said that we need to get a better tight end. I think CJ Uzomah is a fine tight end. I think we need a better backup because let's be honest, this offense is not designed for the tight end to be featured. It's just not. So, because everybody went nuts when Gronk said, "Oh, if I got to play another year, I go play for Joe Burrow." Which, hey, if Gronk wants to come here and play, sign me up. I'm all for it. We do a 2 tight end set. I don't think that's going to happen. But do you think? I guess my question is: do you think CJ will be back? And is there a tight end in the draft that you think might be a good backup? Because Drew Samples is what he is. He's a blocking tight end. We need another receiving tight end as well, I think.
So 2 things. One, I do think Uzomah will probably be back. They'll find a way to keep him. He's obviously a huge leader in the locker room and he can play. All right. Like that's part of it. He can play. And he's a big part of what they do. The second part of this, admittedly, I haven't done a ton of draft stuff because of, normally I would have 50 names for you and I have done all the research, but
you've been a little busy.
That's right. But we did have Mike Renner of Pro Football Focus on.
I heard that. Yep.
And he talked about the tight end spot and he's like, look, there's no freak athletes, a bunch of guys in the mid rounds. And he kind of said Drew Samples. And so to me, if they're going to add another guy, maybe it isn't free agency. And you look at the free agency crop, not only is it just Uzomah or Gronk, but there are a lot of guys that I think could help, this offense and be a part of this offense and just be a threat if Uzomah gets dinged up or when Uzomah's out of the game. Because we saw with Drew Sample, and I like Drew Sample. I think he's a good dude. I think he's a good blocker, right? Yeah. But he's not a weapon in the passing game, and that's not being mean. It's not personal. Yeah. It's just what it's been. And so. I think they could add probably another piece, a value piece in free, not necessarily Rob Gronkowski. At the same time, if you could get Gronk and just kind of use him in the red zone and then use it, playoff Gronk alongside CJ Uzomah, You know who would love that? Number
Joe
9
Burrow.
would love that. Yes, because he
Exactly.
loves throwing to the tight end. So
Uh-huh.
wouldn't be mad at that at all.
So let's get to you had an article earlier today, and let's see if I can bring it up here about Jessie Bates and Mike Hilton and everybody else's, sign Jessie Bates, which I am completely in agreement with it. So if you guys have not read the article, check out James's article at All Bengals. But what is your thoughts? Are we getting closer? You heard any news? I heard something right before a rumor come out that they might be getting close to signing something. That was just a rumor. You know how rumors are on the internet. So I don't know. As I said, I'm going to Mr. Informational Bengal here, James Repeat. What's the latest that you know on it?
I think they're going to franchise tag him. I think there's a clear gap between Jessie Bates and what his agent David Moletta wants, and I probably butchered his last name, and the Bengals. And it's tough because you say everything out loud, and the Bengals and Bates were clearly separate, right? They were far apart last offseason during camp before the season started. Bates goes out there, has arguably his worst regular season, right? 80 tackles, 1 interception, was it 4 passes defensed? I might be wrong. I think it's 4 passes defensed in 15 games. And then he balls out in the playoffs and is arguably your best defensive player and has been great and had 6 passes defensed, led to the interception, had an interception in the Super Bowl, 2 interceptions total. Look, 20 tackles too. I'm just rattling off all the stats. You said informational Bengal. I got to do that.
I was popping up on the article too, so you can see it there too as well.
I think it's a dilemma because Bates might want top of the market money. I know today he said he doesn't need to be the highest paid safety in the league. Yeah, but he might want 17 million per, which is right underneath Jamal Adams. And guaranteed money. How much guaranteed money does he want? Where are the Bengals at? They have the franchise tag in the back pocket. So that's the tough part. Can they find middle ground where the Bengals say it's worth it to extend this 24-year-old right now and it be a number where Bates is comfortable accepting it, knowing the cap is going up, knowing everything that's going on? It's tough. It really is. And I get it. Fans want him extended. I understand that. And I get extending him. I also understand the Bengals saying, we're not giving you 17 million per, or we're not going to give you 50 million guaranteed or whatever he wants. And I'm not saying that's what he wants. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
But it's a negotiation for a reason. So we'll see. But I think he'll get tagged. If I had to guess, I don't think a deal gets done before March 8th, the franchise tag deadline. I think they'll tag him, and then they'll try to negotiate during right before training camp and try to get a deal done before camp starts. But clearly Bates, I think today was Bates saying, hey, don't franchise tag me. Let's try to get a deal done. Right. And who knows? These things can come together quick. He might not want to play on a 1-year deal. And, maybe that's the route they go over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I was getting a little excited because last night Jessie Bates posted the eyes look, for the next day. I'm like, ooh, you can get signed? What's going on? Maybe that was just for the interview he had on NFL Network, which is a really good interview. And like you said, he didn't say that he wanted or had to be the highest paid safety, which is good because Jamal Adams, how much money the Seahawks are paying him is ridiculous. And let's be honest, I mean, Jessie Bates played like the best safety in the league in the playoffs. Like you said, in the regular season, he didn't. And I do think that contract hanging over him got to him a little bit. So I completely agree with you. Unless something gets done here soon, I think they're going to have to franchise tag him and hopefully negotiate some more into the season. But let's see. We talked about Larry Ogunjobi and BJ Hill. And some people have asked me, they're coming out like, we're not going to sign both of them. Which one would you sign out of the two? And I personally think they're going to sign both of them. But personally, I think the Bengals' priority probably is BJ Hill and then Larry O. What's your thoughts?
I could see that. I think they'll try to keep both. It really depends to me, what kind of market does Larry Ogunjobi have, right? Because he had some splash plays. At the same time, there were little inconsistencies in there, and that's part of life after Geno Atkins, where you're expecting, him to blow up plays all the time. And, I think Larry Ogunjobi is a really good 3-tech. So if you can keep him for a reasonable number, I think you do it because he's entering his prime, rather. BJ Hill should be entering his prime right now. And so if I had to prioritize it, I think it would be Hill and then Ogunjobi. But in a perfect world, they'd keep both. It really just depends on what Ogunjobi's market is. I think he will hit the free agent market, and then they'll kind of see if they can work something out. Because if you're Larry Ogunjobi, You want to get to market and see, all right, I signed this 1-year deal. I was really productive. I had an injury in the playoffs. Are you going to back up the Brinks truck and sign me to a 3-year deal? Because now's the time to get that done. And we'll see if a team is willing to do that. If not, wouldn't be shocked at all if he comes back to Cincinnati and tries to duplicate what he did in 2021 and then some.
Now, I got another question where we talk about cornerback position, and I would love to sign J.C. Jackson. I don't know if he's going to be there or not. We'll see. But what is your thoughts on Eli Apple? I'm not saying he's going to be a starter for us, but I think he's a good backup. Where are you at with him? And I'll let you go after that. I'll let you go after this one. I know you got to get going here.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. I just want to give you a heads up. I forgot to mention it.
No problem.
Yeah, Eli Apple. It's twofold, right? He's on the field. Love it. Minimum deal, no risk, outperformed. Did he get beat? Of course. Cooper Kupp should beat Eli Apple with the Super Bowl on the line. I would expect Jamar Chase to beat him too, one-on-one. That's not necessarily Eli Apple's fault, and I'm not crushing him for the Super Bowl. Here's what I don't like about Eli Apple. When you're okay at something, you're not great, right?
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be the loudest person in the room.
Right.
And that dude goes on social media and acts like he's this lockdown corner, tweeting everybody. And you just don't need that, right? Like, for me, for example, you know what I want in any of my jobs that I've had in this industry? I do not want to be a distraction to my boss. Why? Right. Because I'm not the person making the most money that they have to have and they have to have on staff and that they have to employ. No. I want to go under the radar. I don't want to be a distraction. I just want to work hard, and that's it. And I think that's what the Bengals want out of their fourth cornerback. Right. And that's what Eli Apple, I don't think they're bringing him back to be their starter next year necessarily.
He wasn't brought here to start to begin with.
Exactly. So that's the thing is, like, if they bring him back, I think they're going to say, tone it down a bit. Will he be willing to do that? 1, 2, what kind of money is he looking for? And 3, is there a market outside of Cincinnati? Because a lot of fan bases are like, Eli Apple.
Yeah. Right.
They laugh at the idea of it. So I could see a path to him coming back. But 1, you can't be a distraction when you're the fourth corner on the team. 2, what kind of money is he realistically going to get? If you can bring him back for $2 or $3 million, worth it if you're not a distraction. If he's asking for $5 million per over the next 3 years, well, Eli, we're not there yet. We're just not there yet, my man.
Exactly. All right, let me get the rowdy out of your lap here. Thanks for the $20 super chat. Appreciate it. Hey there. He said there is talk that the next time the salary cap goes up, it will be over $300 million. Can we sign Higgins to a huge prorated signing bonus to go against the 2023 cap and come off the books before Burrow and Chase come due?
Yeah. I totally understand that. So Higgins can't sign an extension till after the 2022 season. It's got to be 3 years. So a year from now, that will be something that you're talking about, because Joe Burrow will be entering the final year. We'll be talking about a Joe Burrow extension too.
Yeah.
Right. Where they exercise the 5th-year option and maybe try to get a deal done with him after next season as well. Totally could see that happening where you get him in and you try to do it where you can balance it, where you get Higgins and Burrow locked up, and then you got Chase coming, and and then it goes from there, and we'll see. But no, I know some have speculated, well, they won't be able to keep Higgins and Chase. And yeah, they will. They will. Absolutely. It's possible. I think they plan on doing that, and that's certainly in their future. So yeah, they can do that. They just can't do it this offseason. I think next offseason they'll look at number 5, because he's changing his number, T. Higgins, and then number 9, Joe Burrow as well.
Yeah,
and Logan Wilson for what it's worth, and Logan Wilson.
True. It would be cool if Tyler Boyd goes to 3 and people talk about the 5-1-3 boys. That'd be cool. But I don't think Bates will change his number. But that would be cool. We had the 513 area code guys on there. That would be neat. All right, James. I know you got to get going. You got to do your podcast here soon. I got to give you guys a shout out. I've thoroughly enjoyed your podcast the last couple weeks. The guys you've had on, Sands, I love Sands, and the guy from PFF was awesome. I love the information you guys have been doing. So if anybody who watches me doesn't listen to Locked Up Bengals, which I seriously doubt that's possible, why not? Go check out James and Jake Liska. They do a great job. Check out James on allbengals.com, all Bearcats, and everything else. And anything else you want to plug there, James? Built Bars or whatever you got.
Hey man, I mean, if you want me to, I got it right here. But
there you go.
no. Cincinnati Bengals Talk is the other one right on YouTube. So
Yep.
yeah, you're right. I try to be Mr. Informational. Maybe that's what I'll go by. I like that. Mr.
I want to see.
Informational.
I want to see that name. So James Rapine. I want to see Mr. Information on your YouTube channel tonight when we're gonna watch Locked On Bengals.
All right, Mr. Informational. I like it. It has a ring to it. Mr. Strawberry Ice.
Yeah, baby. That's right. All right, James. As always, dude, I appreciate you. And dude, I'm so excited about this offseason. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait till the season starts. But we got a ways to go.
Be, my man. Yes, sir. Thanks for everyone for watching, and thanks, man. Appreciate you having me.
All right, man. See you, James. Who day? Hey guys, sorry, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I love James Rapine. He is a very, very cool dude. He's always coming on my show when he gets a chance, and he's a very busy guy. And I didn't even get the chance to ask him about Super Bowl, how cool that was. We got so much stuff about free agency and what's going on. So let me get to Steve Lowe. Steve, what's up, man? I'll get to your comment here. I'm sorry if it was for James. I missed it. Hey, I say James, at the beginning of the season, I told James 12-5 with a playoff win. The boys did better with another offseason like the last two. Yeah, I was at 12 and I was 11-6 was mine. So I was with you there, Steve. I thought we had a very good chance. And look, I can't emphasize this enough. And I hate keep sounding like a squeaky wheel. We fixed this offensive line. Guys, girls, the sky is the limit with this team, as long as they stay healthy. But I'll just go to try to explain what my tweet was, and it blew up. I had a whole bunch of people. Some people liked it, some people didn't. My thought process is, if you didn't hear at the beginning of the show, if we can sign Ryan Jensen, who is a top-tier center, you can move Trey Hopkins over to guard, and then you can go get, Laramie Tunsil. You can get Armstead. You can go get Orlando Brown. Go get a top-tier left tackle. Go get another guard, say Austin Corbett. If you can sign those three guys, and they're like James said, Bengals are loyal. They have Trey Hopkins under contract. He's going to start somewhere. Him and Jenna Williams are going to start somewhere. Those two, I guarantee you, are going to start somewhere in the offensive line next year. So if you get that stud center, you get a stud left tackle, you get a very good guard, and you move Jenna Williams from left to right, which I think he might do better at right because of the short arms. And you have Trey Hopkins as your right guard. I'm telling you, that's a pretty daggone good offensive line. So that's where, now I know Jonah or Ryan Jensen is expensive. So that's where I'm not sure. I won't say I'm not sure the Bengals are going to do it. They have to be very smart with their money. A lot of guaranteed money up front, because you still got to sign Jessie Bates. You still got to sign Larry Ogunjobi or BJ Hill, hopefully both. And the other free agents like CJ Uzama, and then you got the draft pick. So there are other guys they have to sign. So they have to be smart with their money. They can't just spend all of it on, and that's what people have told me. Because my first one was I wanted Ryan Jensen and Armstead, and everybody said, well, that goes all of our money. Well, you don't pay them. I mean, I'm not into the analytics of it. I'm into the players of it. They have to be smart with their contracts, which they have been the last couple of years with the guys that they've signed. And I don't think they're going to change that. So there's lots of options out there of what they can do. Worst case scenario, I think they're going to sign 2 offensive linemen. I really have a feeling they're going to sign 3. If they can get a serviceable cornerback, J.C. Jensen would be great. But Chidobe Awuzie, if they can get another guy like him, because I'll be honest, I never heard of Chidobe until last year. And he has been a great cornerback for us. If they can get another guy like that on the other side, we're good as far as that goes. And then, like I said, the draft for depth, draft the best player available. That would be the perfect case scenario for the Bengals, which you could get a center, which I wanted to bring this up because the guy that James had on Locked On Bengals was talking about safety that the Bengals could possibly pick up at 31. And no, we're not saying replace Jessie Bates, but maybe eventually Von Bell. I mean, I love Von Bell. He is getting older. But either way, you have to have depth pieces. I mean, Ricardo Allen retired. You got to have some depth pieces. That's where I'm at with the Bengals. And I'm not very good at explaining everything on Twitter and typing it all out. So that's why I wanted to try to explain what my tweet was for everybody who I literally had somebody tell me this is the worst take ever. I'm like, how is taking one of the best centers in the league, a worse take. Just like, did you? Anyway, Twitter is sometimes funny. I don't take it personal. It's all good. All right, let's see here. Brandon, what's up? If I remember right, Ice Hopkins wasn't that great at right guard when they moved him into center 2018. He was a way better center than guard. And I'm not saying he's a great guard. That's where he wasn't that good at guard. I'm not saying he's a great guard. What I'm saying is he was okay at guard. If you get Ryan Jensen, who is better at center than Trey Hopkins, and you have Jonah Williams at right tackle, you put Trey Hopkins at guard, that makes him better. If you surround him with better players, that makes him better. And you also have to look at the offensive line that Trey played on back then. None of them were any good. So that's what kind of like, yeah, it says he wasn't that good then, but nobody was any good on that offensive line. So that's where I'm kind of, I think as far if Trey Hopkins is the weakest link on that offensive line at guard, we got a pretty good offensive line. I'll say that. Rowdy Everlap. So trade Jackson Carman for a 3rd round pick. See, I don't want to trade Jackson Carman. I still think Jackson Carman can be a serviceable guard for it. And that's where Trey Hopkins, he's only got 1 year left on his deal. The next year, you got Jackson Carman and you got Deontay Smith, who will have another full year in the NFL under their belt. They could compete for that right guard. Say you got Austin Corbett, you signed him for 3 years. That's locked up. So your other right guard position is open for one of those two. Just my thoughts. All right, Tommy. Morgan Moses at tackle is a move that fits the Bengals. So does Ryan Jensen. Look, I don't mind Morgan Moses. My only issue is he is older. So I would rather, if we're going to get people that you have to replace, I'd rather be the guards. I'd rather have a tackle that we can plug and play and keep in for a couple years. But hey, if Morgan Moses is it and it's like James Rapine said, win right now mode, then I'm all for it. So, I like I said, to be honest, I'm not set on one direction to go with this offensive line. What I'm set on is doing the best we can to protect Joe Burrow, keep him upright, and hopefully have him make it through a season and not have a knee injury. Keep him upright and let this offense cook. I don't care who they sign, where they move people, long as the offensive line is better than it was this year. And I think they have a chance of being really good. Josh, just because they aren't projects to make X amount of dollars doesn't mean they will make X amount of dollars. They can give them more money up front. Yes, exactly. No, I agree with you. That's where they can, do the guaranteed up front. They can defer some. They can do lots of different stuff, which they've done with the contract. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not worried about it. Katie Blackburn is really smart trying to figure out these contracts. So I think she'll be good at that. And plus, the other thing you have to look at too, these guys might want to come here. I mean, Ryan Jensen, Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't have Tom Brady anymore. Who knows who their quarterback is? The New Orleans Saints, Armstead. Who's their quarterback? You have to look at where these guys are coming from. The Bengals have jackpot Joey Burrow, and we just went to the Super Bowl, and they know the one thing we need is offensive line. So could they use that to their advantage and try to get as much money as they can get? Sure. Or could they go, I want to get a ring. I want to go to Cincinnati, and I want to play for jackpot Joey Burrow, just like DJ Reader did. So that's a lot of things. We will see what happens. I think there's going to be more guys that we can sign that I want to get here or want to come here. Brandon, what's up? Who are the guards you like in free agency ice? I like, I got to do it off the top of my head. Hoffman, I think his name is, from Washington, and I like Austin Cobra from I think he's from the Rams or the Chargers. Again, I'm trying to do it off the top of my head. Those are the two that I've been looking at. And like I said, I've been looking at all kinds of different stuff. So my brain might be a little jumbled. Rowdy Everlak, Hakeem Adeniji sucks. It bummed me out that he was playing in the Super Bowl. Okay. He didn't play that. I don't know if I would go as far as he sucks. The thing is, Hakeem, it would be a guy that I would keep as a backup. The thing is, these guys that we had, the problem is, Jackson Carman, and I said this with James, was supposed to be the plug-and-play right guard. He wasn't. Hakeem Adeniji was never supposed to be that. He was a project when they drafted him. You know, they felt more confident with him at right guard than Jax Carman, which kind of goes to not say such a good thing about Jackson Carman. That's where they messed up in this whole offseason. Like James said, they could have had Zeiler for not that much money, but the Bengals didn't want to spend the money. I think they will this year. But the thing is, Hakeem Adeniji, Jax Carman, Deontay Smith, Isaiah Prince, they're going to have to keep some of these guys, one, to hopefully develop them for future, and two, for backups. You got to have backups. So that's where we're at with that. All right, let's see here. Bill Jordan, your take is problematic because there's multiple problems. Trey isn't really good one-on-one, which makes him a better at center. The money you're spending is exorbitant. I'm not spending the money. I haven't even said how much money they're spending. So that's why everybody keeps going about the money. I'm like, I'm not saying give him everything he wants. This is theoretical. That they can get it under the salary cap, and we're not giving him a ton of money. Everybody wants to throw the money out at me. I haven't said how much I'm paying him. I'm just saying it'd be cool to get him. There are better fits, just not close to the ideal plan. I mean, if you want to keep Trey Hopkins at center, I'm fine with it. That's cool. But I'm just saying, if you're building an offensive line for future, and I like an offensive line that we can move forward with future-wise. So to me, you're building an offensive line. You start with your tackles and your centers. If you can get those three sets, you can fill in with your guards. And if you have an anchor at center and anchors at left and right tackle, your guards get better. That's all I'm saying. That's basic football, you know? So everybody keeps looking at how bad Hopkins was at center or at guard. Again, first, this year, he was hurt. Secondly, when he played guard, the whole offensive line sucked. Yes, and you're right. Jackson was hurt. Yeah, and hopefully that's not a recurring thing with his back. But we'll see. All right, let's see here. Matt, thoughts on Trey Waynes' contract? They're going to cut him. If they don't cut Trey Waynes, I will be absolutely shocked, to be honest. Let's see here. Let's go to Tommy. The other guard for the Colts is Galvensky. I cannot say that word. Is a free agent. He's not too shabby either. There's lots of good guards out there. But like I said, for me, I would like to fix the tackle and center and try to get some guards in there too. We'll see. All right, let's see here. Tommy, Ryan Jensen at center is projected in the $11 to $13 million range. That's very reasonable for the type of guy you're getting. That's what I'm saying. I mean, and the thing is, you sign Ryan Jensen, I think he's just 30 years old, 29, 30, somewhere around there. You sign him to 3 or 4 years. That's your center for the next 3 or 4 years. You get Tinsley from Tennessee. He's signed for the next 2 or 3 years. Jonah Williams is signed. So your right tackle, your center, and your left tackle are all set. We don't have to worry about them, as long as they all stay healthy, of course. And then go sign Austin Corbett. Move Hopkins to center. Hell, you don't want to move Hopkins to center? Fine. Then cut him. I don't think the Bengals are going to do just like James Rapine said. They're very loyal, and he worked his butt off to get back here. So I think he's going to be fine at guard. I think it's a little funny of how many people are like, no, you can't put him at guard. Like, why the hell not? Like, why can't you? Like, I don't know. If you get a studded center and studded tackles, you can put Trey Hopkins at guard. You can. It's doable. Anyway. But this was fun about sports talk. I got our own opinion. And you guys are fine. You have your own opinion. That's cool. Doesn't mean mine's right. Doesn't mean yours is wrong. I mean, I have no idea what the Bengals are going to do. We're just talking here. Brandon, I'm down with Jensen, 11 to 12 million a year. Like I said, that's not awful. And like I said, you have to look at the Bengals' history. The Bengals, like I said, they don't spend money on guards. Look at last year, Zeiler. They could have got him. They lowballed. They don't. Now, they might change their mind and spend money on guards this year. But if they spend it on, like I've said, the center and a left tackle, you move Jonah to right tackle and go get, another guard. it's if you're and if they got Corbett, like if this is your offensive line, let's just throw it out there. Let's say Tinsley's your tackle, Corbett's your guard, Jensen's your center, Trey's your other guard, and you got Jonah Williams at tackle. Would anybody out there be disappointed with that? I mean, would anybody going, oh my God, we're not going to be any good. We got Trey Hopkins at guard. Really? Like, if that happens, I don't know if it's going to or not, but that's just where I'm at. I'm like, it's not that horrible of an idea. It's some people come after me on, which is, I just think it's hilarious. Jennifer and Jensen notes, come here. Jensen is noted for a nasty side to create some meanness. He is because I think it was a playoff game or a regular season game where his helmet came off and he was pissed. He was ready to go kill somebody. So that's one of the reasons, not one of the reasons, but he's a good player. And yeah, you got to get anchors. Let's see here. Tommy, and if you're wrong, go cheaper at center and guard. Ted Karnas from the Pax projected about 6 to 7 million. Right, you could do that guard. But like I said, I just going by Bengals history, they spend money, like James said, on tackles and centers. They don't spend money on guards. So that's why my thought process isn't that crazy. Guard for the Commanders could be a possible fit. Yeah, that's Hoffman, whatever his name is. Yes. Jennifer Jones, we need that O-line in the AFC North. You are correct. Josh says bad knees. I don't know who's got bad knees. See here. Rowdy Overlap. Gronk said that the Bengals is the one place he'd go. He sure would be helpful in the red zone. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if Gronk, I just have a feeling Gronk's not going to play. I think Brady's gone. He's gone. But like I said, hey, if he wants to come here, sign me up. I will take him. Let's see here. Dean Hawkins was guard until they moved him to center when Price was a bust. Exactly. That's where Dean, people said he wasn't that good a guard. That's where they moved him to center. I'm like, no. They moved him to center because Billy Price was awful. They had no other choice. They had to try somebody at center, and then they moved Trey from guard to center. Thank you, Dean. That's exactly. And it wasn't that somebody said they moved to center because he's bad at guard. Okay, let's just think about that. If you're bad at guard, you're going to move him to a position that's even harder. That doesn't make any sense. They wouldn't do that. He was okay at guard, and he's been okay at center. Let's see here. Arrow would love to have Gronk. He is an ideal fit for our offense. Stud at the run blocking, pass blocking as well. Great pass catcher. Yeah. The thing is, how much more does Gronk have? So yeah, Sharif. That's it. Thank you, Sharif. Thank you, Bill. Sharif. That's the guard from Washington, the Commanders. So I'm wonder if they're going to have a chance to say, we're about to go commando. Yeah, because the Commanders? I don't know. Anyway, let's see here. Greg, I'm with you. Ice on how to fix the offensive line. Thanks. At least somebody is. Let's see here. Josh, what do you think about James Daniels at guard? He's only 24. It's fine. Like I said, I am not set on anything. I mean, there's plenty of guys out there that we can sign or trade to fix this offensive line. Like I said, I'm just trying to think logically what the Bengals have done with their history and what I think they're going to do. And I could see them doing it. I could see them going after Jensen. Like I said, I keep repeating it, kicking Hopkins to guard because they pay money for centers and tackles. And then go and get another tackle, We'll see. Paul, I think the defense is one or two pieces away from being dominant, lockdown corner, good blitzer, and cover linebacker. Yeah, and the thing is, our blitzer is could be Joseph Osai. We don't have to forget about him because if he is as good as he flashed in training camp last year, that's awesome. And the thing is, I think Cheetah Bay is a lockdown corner, and the way that this defense. Way Lou runs this defense, you don't really necessarily need a lockdown. You need a very good cornerback, don't get me wrong. But we don't need the higher echelon. Like I said, if we get another guy as talented as Cheetah Bay, we're going to be fine at cornerback. I love to get J.C. Jensen. I've said that. That'd be great. I'll see if the Patriots let him go. They might have franchise tag him. Let's see here. Jennifer, what about the good corners from the Cowboys in Young? Or you mean guard? Are you talking about corners? Do they have a free agent? I don't know off the top of my head who the free agent corners will be from Denver. I have to go look at that. I agree. The last March 16th, get here fast enough. Exactly. And the funny thing is, this is kind of like we're having an argument just like last year with Chase or Sewell, of what we're going to do. Which, dude, it's fun because they're actually talking about something we all believe and think they're going to do it. So it is a blast. And like I said, you guys don't have to agree with me. That's fine. I don't expect everybody to agree with what I'm saying. My problem is I just like on Twitter, when it blows up, I can't answer everybody. I don't have time to do all that. So when something like that happens, I try to answer it on here. So this is why, if you follow me on Twitter and you're not subscribed to my channel, please do so. Go to Sports with Strawberry Ice and hit the subscription button. All right, Rowdy Everlad. Gronk made so much from endorsements that his salary is not important. If he thinks he has a chance at a Super Bowl, he will sign for. Hey, I'm with you, Rowdy. I hope so. I just don't know if his heart's into it. That's my thing, And will the Bearcats win tonight? I'm going to say it again. I'll say yes, because last time you asked me that on the show, I said yes, and they won. We'll see what happens. They got Central Florida tonight at 9 o'clock, which I like that. Why the heck is it so late at 9 o'clock? They're playing in Orlando. Why are they playing? I don't know. I don't understand why they got playing so late. At least it's on ESPNU, so we can watch it. Brandon, how good was getting Cheetah Bay $22 million for 3 years? Unbelievable. Steal. I mean, that's the thing. If you guys look at the offense or look at the free agents they did last year, Trey Hendrickson, steal. Cheetah Bay, steal. I'll even say Eli Apple. Everybody was like this, he's bad. He helped this team out. If Eli Apple's not there, I don't know who's the second cornerback. So they did so good on the free agents that they signed last year. They need to hit like that again this year. And like I said, I'm hoping for 3 offensive linemen, and I'm hoping for a cornerback. Again, you get those 4 positions locked up. Go re-sign Jessie Bates. I like to get B.J. Hill and Larry O signed again, and let's go. CJ Uzomah, I'll get him back too. Sign those guys back, and let's go, man. Let's go draft for depth. Best player available. Stay healthy, and we're going back to the Super Bowl. Arrow. Sounds like there is some negativity between New England and J.C. Jackson. I would say he's going to say they act like they don't need him. Hey, that's fine with I will take him, and hopefully he'll come here for less money. Bill Jordan signed James Daniels. He's a guard center. Hopkins plays center one more season. Then Daniels slides over. If Trey Hill doesn't develop, trade for Tunzel and re-sign Spain. Hey, that's cool with me. I mean, I said I'm not set on one way or another. I'm just, like I said, I'm just going by Bengals history. They don't pay for guards. That's why I think they will pay for a center and they'll pay for a tackle. And they'll get a guard. They just won't pay a ton for them. Dean. Anyone we add is just playing with house money. I think of all the guys that we picked up we picked up on offense and defense last year that will be playing in the system for the second year. Exactly. Why did the Giants trade Hill? Crown, I have no idea, but I'm glad they did. that was one of the greatest trades in Bengals history. Yeah, and Mike Hilton is recruiting Tunzel, which, I mean, he's recruiting them, but the Texans got to be willing to trade him. It's not like Tunzel is a free agent. So I think it's cool. I like it, and I'll take Tunzel. But like I said, the Texans have to be willing to trade him. Sorry, I had to get a drink there. All right, Bill. J.C. Jackson doesn't play zone coverage well, which the Bengals do a lot. He's just not a fit, especially for the money. That's a good point. I mean, he tweeted JC too. You're right. Yes, he has. My bad, Arrow. Hilton tweeted at JC as well. But yeah, you're right, Bill. And that's where I'm like, I think as far as the cornerback goes, I really do think they're going to try to get somebody along the same lines as Cheetah Bay, because your point in case right there. Oh, they play zone coverage. They don't really need a shutdown guy. I mean, it'd be nice to get one. They don't really need one. The way they play defense. So if you can get a guy who is just as good as Cheetah Bay on the other side, I think we're gonna be fine. So I mean, I'd like to get J.C. Jackson. I'm not like, oh my God, we gotta get him. I'm more of, I want 3 offensive linemen, and go draft a cornerback at 31 if you can. Brandon. Interesting. Didn't know JC wasn't good at zone. Brandon, I didn't either. So learn something new every day. So I believe what Bill said. Like I said, I don't have any reason not to believe him. So, all right. We've been going for about an hour. I appreciate every single one of you. Let me get the bill here. The Tampa Bay corner is the guy you want, but he probably is pricey. Name eludes me. Carton, I think. I'll have to look that up. I'll have to look him up on PFF. So he's a cornerback for Tampa. And that's the thing. You see, and everybody says that they're going to be wanting all this money. If they're coming from Tampa, they already won a Super Bowl. They know what it takes to win a Super Bowl. So they either look at it this way: the guy hasn't made money and he wants to get his back now because he won a Super Bowl, or he wants to win another one and come here for less money. So we'll see. Anyway, let's get to the Facebook groups that let me live stream. As always, I appreciate every single one of them. They're Houday Nation, Houday Legion, Bearcat Ruckus, Cincinnati Reds, riding third, heading for home, the Ohio State Bucknuts, the Ice Bar. They can follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Twitter handle is at Jeff A. Trunapole. TikTok is at Iceman90. If you missed any of the show or the interview with James Rapine, you can check it out on the podcast later on tonight or tomorrow. It'll be on BeanPod, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure you rate, like, and review. Leave a comment so more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast. I'd greatly appreciate it. YouTubers, my originals, we're at 1,505 subscribers. That is awesome. Like a rocket ship, we're heading to 2,000, hopefully. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Please to subscribe to Sports with Strawberry Ice on YouTube. I would greatly appreciate it. Tomorrow, I got my boy Dale, my seat neighbor. He sits behind me at the Bengals games, and he is a draft nut. He sent me a spreadsheet and all kinds of stuff. So we're going to be talking mostly NFL draft tomorrow and what the Bengals could do at 31 if they keep the pick. If they don't keep the pick. So check it out tomorrow. As always, live at 5:30. And other than that, I'm going to watch the Bearcats, which starts at 9 o'clock. Hopefully they'll win. We got March Madness coming up soon. Hopefully by the end of this week, Jessie Bates is signed. Be kind of surprised, but you never know. I can't wait till March 16th, 15th. I thought it was 15th when the free agency starts, but somebody said it was 16th. Either way, I can't wait. I'll go find out what the Bengals are going to do. This is going to be fun. You guys have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. And that's just sports, baby. See ya!
Let's go. In the night, stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast disobey, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, Houday, we ignite in Cincinnati, we gon' rise in the jungle, we unite in dripping orange and black and white. Houday, when we fight, live and die in these streets. Wake up the beast, every day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle, dripping heat. Tigers strike the city streets. East side, stand up. West side, stand up. If you reppin' Houday, time to put your hands up. Bengals stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati, jungle fitted. Houday in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we live it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the pounce, make the city howl. Now we beasting now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes we tatted on the jungle when we flex that Houday muscle on them. Stripes, Cincinnati, we gon' rise in the jungle, we unite in dripping orange and black and white. day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Stripes. Now who wanna move close and on? Stripes. Now who wanna move on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock 'em, yeah we got 'em, yeah we fought 'em like that black and